This video is a follow-up to my last video. Although it's not required to watch, I would recommend for you to give it a watch to understand things clearer. So last week, Events Update has been released. They brought most of the events and their battle passes back. Originally, the events were going to cost 500 Robux to access the game modes and the battle passes, and a good chunk of the community was not pleased with the single most hyped up update costing Robux to gain access. The developers have seen the outrage and made the events free, but the battle passes still cost Robux. Well, this fixed the problem, right? Now you can play the events freely without a paywall, right? Well, wrong. Let me break things down so people can understand stuff clearer. The concept of events and battle passes are fun. Throughout your time playing the game, you play by the standard settings or difficulties, but when an event releases, new content would be added to the game and more gameplay options you receive. But there's a flaw with this event mechanic. They are limited time. Throughout the event's duration, there is new content, but when the event ends, everything returns to normal. And the content that was introduced to the game, which is in our case, towers and skins, will not be accessible by the new players. Now we've returned to TDX. Main point of returning the events was to make the past content more accessible and not gatekeeping people from the past content. Now as I said in my last video, this is good in concept, but in practice, stuff doesn't really work out. Yes, you can play the old events, but if you cannot access the past rewards like towers or skins, does it really matter? For the more seasoned people, this is just more content to play, more stuff to do if you missed old game modes. But for the new players, this is practically useless. Let's say that you're a new TDX player. You play for a few hours, you watch some videos, and you see some skins or towers that you really like. Let's say you're a Tower Battles fan. When you see the Tower Battles game mode, it will make you happy, it will be fun to play. But when you want to access the custom skins or towers, you will be faced with a 500 Robux paywall that blocks you from those great skins that you really like. Normally, the events were also going to cost Robux to unlock, so you wouldn't be able to play them from the very beginning. But because of the outrage, they made them free. Well, what changed? For the new people, literally nothing would change. You not being able to progress the battle pass is against the very idea of making the past content more accessible. Now as a pretty knowledgeable player of TDX, I would like to suggest some stuff. After you play the game for long enough, the grind starts to feel boring. The whole cycle repeats itself with play game mode, game money, buy tower. These battle passes, if implemented correctly, would be an amazing solution to this problem. Instead of playing for money and repeating the cycle, you could play events or special game modes that will progress your battle pass, slowly making you earn more and more stuff, with those stuff being new skins, power-ups, and new towers. The game's playthrough revolves around spend time to gain what you desire. Battle passes will fit this gameplay loop and will grant people more stuff to do, rather than just playing the regular game mode to earn money. Well, this is one problem, but there is another one that I would really like to talk about. The normal game modes of the events. When these events were originally released in their respective time frames, you had a choice of being normal and nightmare modes. Normal modes were stress-free grinding method that rewarded you less, while nightmare mode was the best way to progress the battle pass. Now currently, with the events being back, nightmare mode is the same, but the normal mode requires you to play with the pre-selected presets. Again, with the community's outrage, they added to use your own loadout option, but now it has a penalty of 30% less rewards. This pretty much makes the normal mode useless for any sort of grinding purposes, so you kind of have to use the presets if you want a stress-free experience, and let me tell you this, the presets are not good. The assault loadout doesn't give you any good DPS or splash option, with your choices being Juggernaut for DPS and Missile Trooper and Grenadier for splash. Support loadout has basically no main DPS option besides the support towers it has. Heavy weapons loadout doesn't really have any high DPS options, and the VIP forces are a joke with having no DPS options at all. Now do you notice a pattern in this pre-selected loadout? None of them, besides the special forces, have any expensive towers in them. So if you want a laid-back grind experience, you have to play with nothing but beginner towers, thus making your laid-back grind not so laid-back anymore. This 30% gold reduction isn't a good idea. Normal moves are already bad to grind on. Why would you nerf on top of this? It just doesn't make sense. And with this topic also covered, I want to say a few more things before I end it. This update is not a bad update, cause at the end it is just extra content that anybody can play. But this update is the single most disappointing update, with having the most potential out of all the updates. This update could have given us different ways to grind for the content, such as towers or skins, but because of TDX's greed, we unfortunately can't see nor access this game-changing outcome. And if you're a TDX player, don't just say, well, they fixed the problem, or stay silent. Make yourself loud and clear for them to see the glaring obvious problem, which is greed.